This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No. Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. All right, people, we're starting today with a very hot button issue, abortion. All right, I'm sure you've heard that the Arizona Supreme Court ruled yesterday that a 160-year-old near total abortion ban is now enforceable in the state. The ban will likely go into effect in 2 weeks, and it forces abortion clinics to close. Here is what the state's governor, Katie Hobbs, had to say about it this morning on CBS.
This is a devastating decision that will have huge consequences, and I immediately called on our legislature to repeal this ban. They could do that today. They could gavel in today and make a motion to repeal this ban, and they should do that. I'm hopeful that they will. Because this will have devastating consequences for Arizona. But Arizonans will also have a chance in November to enshrine the right to abortion in our state's constitution with a ballot measure. And I'm confident that when they have the chance to do that, they will.
All right, so we're going to ask the panel about this. You can feel free to write in as well. I want to let you know this 1864 law, everyone on the panel, it says that abortion provider, will be punished by a prison sentence of up to 2 to 5 years, except only in cases where it saves the woman's life. So it provides zero exceptions for any rape or any incest. You're done. You can have none of that. And this now goes into effect in 2 years. I also want to give you some information we got from a poll by YouGov. Only 7% of Arizona voters right now actually support an outright abortion ban with no exceptions. So this bill is going on to a state in which very few people actually want that. Politically, Al, what do you think all of this means?
I mean, this issue could be like my front yard right now, just weeds. You know, but we want to back out of that and look at this just like in a general sense.
Right.
This is terrible for the Republicans. Say what you want about the Democrats, but they have carrots with the stick. There's like, hey, we're going to wipe out student loans. We're going to legalize marijuana. Things that are generally popular, whether you disagree, whatever. When you're running on something that has a 7% popularity, Erica, I can't imagine. That's like the people that only want anchovies and pineapple on their pizza. Like, there are people that want that, but very few. And when your whole thing is like, we're going to make the whole country eat that pizza, it's very hard. And the Republicans need to figure out what their carrot is, because right now it's, hey, your Social Security is going to go, you can't get that for another couple of years. You can't retire. No IVF, no abortion. It's a lot of no's.
Book bans.
And it's very quickly. And no matter who you are, no matter how you identify, Copy, people don't like change this quickly. These are settled laws.
Yeah, I think the thing that rings in my ear the most is only in cases where it is detrimental to the life of the mother. And my question is, who decides that? Because there's enough gray, and we know that there have been landmark cases where women have had issues that their doctors have said this will potentially take this woman's life, or it absolutely will take this woman's life, and they get tied up in litigation at a time where it could be absolutely terminal. And I just think if we are going to take antiquated laws, there are a lot of antiquated laws on the books, and I would suggest for people who are supporting this to look at what else can be codified or what else can be considered now a law that we are going to not only practice but also enforce, that no longer serves a purpose in this modern community or modern day, but we can now, this is going to be precedence.
Right, exactly. I also want to get Jeff's opinion on here, but even Trump seems to have read the room, like Al was saying. So I want you guys to listen to what Trump had to say about abortion. He realizes, in my opinion, it's a losing issue, okay? In 7 states, abortion has been on the voting ballot. Democrats have won every single time in all 7. Take a look at what Trump had to say about it.
My view is now that we have abortion where everybody wanted it from a legal standpoint, the states will determine by vote or legislation or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land, in this case, the law of the state.
Okay, so what we're saying is here, he wants it to go back to the states, right? Which is what a lot of Republicans want. But when we go back to the states, we're going back to an 1864 law that, to my mind, is barbaric towards women. What do you think, Jeff?
I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you on this one. 1864.
Correct.
We got to update our laws, right? I mean, we got to
like
find
Deadwood.
Yeah, we got to, for real. We got to find a middle ground between Democrats and Republicans, because we always want to say this is where they hang their hat and this is where they mess up. And the Democrats did mess up. I'll admit that. I don't think anybody wants to leave it to the government to talk about a woman's body. Like I say it all the time on my on the show. I watched my wife give birth, both vaginally and with a C-section. If that's not up to her to do it again, it's up to the government. And here's and I really have a problem with the government saying, oh, I was raped. And well, we let this guy out 5 different times. He's a convicted rapist, and we've let him out. This is his 5th time. You're not getting that guy off the streets, but now it's my problem, and you're telling me I'm not allowed to abort this baby
and
that I was raped, and now I have to live with that memory for 9 months, and not only that, and then somehow care for this child, for this man who just did. It's absurd to me, and we have to find a middle ground where obviously you're not going to abort the baby at 8 months, right, pregnant. I don't understand why Republicans put their feet in the ground on this issue. There's a lot of issues on the other side I don't understand either, but it's like, can't we just have common sense instead of Republican and Democrat and leave it up to the person and not the government to talk about what a woman should do with their body?
Jeff? Well, it's probably Trump. He's like, why did you guys do this?
The overturn of Roe v. Wade was
Thank you. That's
crazy.
what I said. What you just said is we could have left it at Roe v. Wade.
And it was fine. I think everyone was kind of in middle ground.
Am I right?
Like, yes.
Exactly. Now, I just want to talk about this issue, too, as what it is to me is a flip-flop, right? So they want, the Republicans, they want this base to be revved up with this pro-life thing, but they realize it's also not very popular. So Carrie Lake, who is running for senator of Arizona, by the way, a swing state for not only the presidential election, but control of Congress and Senate because she is running for senator, she was saying this is a great law, fantastic law. As soon as Trump came out and said, you know what, I'm not sure I like this, she flip-flopped and went back again.
But here's the thing, you make it seem like flip-flop's a bad thing.
Right.
They're not exactly saying they're wrong,
right.
You know, but to come off that issue and say, this isn't right, for a party to do that, I like that. I would like if other issues, you don't like that? I would like if other issues also did that on the other side as well as both sides.
I understand what you're saying in terms of flexibility of thought, but I think that when we're trying to make sense out of nonsense, because this has become nonsensical, it feels very much like I always say, look over here because you don't want people to see what's over here. I want people to really think about what the benefit would be to making sure that Roe v. Wade continues to stay overturned. I know I'm going to invite a whole lot of trolls. I don't even have the time, but I got the time today. I'm just going to repeat this to white women to really pay attention to what is happening right here, because this is affecting you. They are coming for you. It's about making sure that we continue to have a white population. It is no secret that census determines that within the next decade, that the majority of people in our country are going to be some shade of brown. And this is about the protection of white babies. It always has been. It always will be. I know people are going to come for me. That's fine. I'm just telling you, white women, you are so important. Pay attention to what the autonomy is and how it's being taken away from you, because it's not about me. It's about y'all.
But then why would they go after IVF? I feel what you're saying.
I know. It's like, here's the thing. I feel like IVF, and this is just, I mean, the IVF thing is a total speculation, but I feel like IVF, or even bringing that up, was a direct shot to white women, saying, you want to be advocating for what we're doing over here, then fine. Because IVF affects more white women than any other race in this country. I don't know. I think it's just putting it on the table.
I appreciate all these points of view, but to me, honestly, this is a losing issue. The Republicans know it, and they're flip-flopping. As soon as Trump says this is wrong, they all flip-flop the other way, not for morality, not because the law is wrong, because they want the votes. That's my opinion. We'll be right back. Welcome back to DBL. The world's oldest man is Al. Just kidding. The world's oldest man. I just wanted to break it up a little bit. Is revealing his secret to a long life. This 111-year-old gentleman from England says it all comes down to a little luck, moderation, and fish and chips every Friday. This got us thinking, though, if the secret to living forever means you have to live a more boring-ish life, is it worth it? So would you rather, I know you're going to take offense to that.
Well, how do we know it's boring for him?
Well, he lives very moderately. Every Friday he gets his fish and chips. It might not be boring.
Maybe he really looks forward to Friday.
Maybe that's his
really
thing.
boring.
No way. Fish and chips is good.
If that's the only thing, if you walked in my house and saw my calendar and the only thing was fish and chips every Friday, you'd be like, Al is in trouble.
But it gives you something to look forward to.
All right, we're talking
Listen,
not
I'm down with a fish and chip.
Okay,
That's
we're talking not about this gentleman in particular.
Okay.
But to all of us, if you could stop drinking and save 10 years of your life, would you do it?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Would you moderate certain things? And I think the balance in life is what you strive for,
Moderation.
right? But I don't want to drink myself to death,
Right.
but I also want to live somewhat of a healthy life. So I think somewhere right in the middle is my sweet spot because I do like having a good time. I like going out. It's very part of being social. I want to level up from fish and chips a little bit.
You want to be up from fish and
Yeah.
chips. Are you fish and chips above or below?
You know I'm above.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I think that
I've been to Vegas with you.
The thing that makes me feel the most alive and happy is being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
Your choice.
So I don't know if that makes it spicy or if it's above moderation, but at times it can be, absolutely.
Okay, what about you? You got sober. How do you feel about that?
Well, we're talking to probably the two most disciplined people I've ever met.
I don't know how disciplined.
I don't know
Jeff,
either.
no, you wanted to cut out meat, you did that. You wanted to stop playing, gambling or whatever for a second for Lent, you did that. You did fitness I couldn't I'm not wired like that. I was always wired like we're all gonna die, and so I went real hard for I took this Maserati and I put it in the red.
You revved it.
For a number of years. It probably took some years off my life, but no regrets. I mean, that's me, and I know, maybe I'll make up for it by not drinking for the next 40, 50 years, but no regrets. Hey, I saw the world. I kicked it.
You kicked
I'm fine.
it.
What about you, Tor?
I don't know. Right now, lately, I've felt like I've had a little bit of my fill of alcohol. Mm-hmm. And health-wise, just because I'm older and I don't feel as good anymore. And so I think I would like to live. Now, I live a boring life. I cross-stitch. I listen to old English audiobooks of detectives in villages and Cotswolds. But I also think I'm going to cut down on the alcohol. So I think I'm going to go fish and chips guy.
Do you think it's just the alcohol or just the lifestyle?
I think it's the alcohol.
First of all, you can't have fish and chips without a pint. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You're ruining my thing.
Yeah.
A lot of NA pints.
Yeah, there's NA pints.
Yes.
There's NA pints.
There are
NA pints.
They are good.
Not available to me.
Yeah.
Coming up on DBL, thank you, Erica. An etiquette expert is sharing how to get yourself through those awkward social situations like the way I live.
I love
Coming
that
up next.
fit.
Welcome back to DBL. Do you ever find yourself in an awkward or tense social situations and you're not sure how to correctly handle it, like my life? What? Earlier, we spoke to Sarah Jane Ho, an etiquette expert, who can teach you how to be your best self in any situation. Check it out.
Please welcome to the show, etiquette expert Sarah Jane Ho.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and introduce my new book.
Absolutely. All right. I am definitely going to be reading this. Your book is broken up into etiquette for different parts of your life, which is really important for me because I have certain ones like social situations. Let's start there. We've talked about how hard it is to be making new friends, and I've talked about that myself as an adult. What is the worst thing I could do when making introductions to new people? Because I think I'm doing it.
Well, when you're introducing two people for the first time, so many people make the mistake of just saying their names, like, oh, this is Tom, this is Jerry. But actually, that kind of is hard for them to build off of. So the best way to make an introduction is to say, oh, this is Tom, this is Jerry, oh, you're both from Texas, or oh, you both have kids the same age, or you find something really interesting, the most interesting factoid you know about one of the people, like, oh, this is Tom, he's a champion bungee jumper. And that way, it's very easy for other people to immediately follow up, and they can converse and you can step back.
Let's discuss etiquette with family. This is very important. It's an election year, which means a lot of arguments could break out during family gatherings. How can we keep peace with our loved ones?
Well, as soon as anything gets a bit rowdy, it's important, usually for the most senior person in the family at the table, to get things back on track, or any other relative can step in. Best way is to use humor to say, all right, there, everybody, we agree to disagree, and then immediately change the topic. So turn to somebody else and say, hey, aren't you supposed to go on spring break to Miami? What do you have planned for it?
That's smart.
That's a good way to get. I'm going to use that at the table.
Literally use that today. Yeah.
Trump Biden, you going on spring break?
All right, let's talk dinner parties because those are my jam. I love to host them, even more to attend them. So what are some of your biggest guest behavior no-nos?
Ooh, I would say never change up the seating card. So the place card that says where you should sit. Some of the biggest no-nos I've seen are when people are like, oh, I don't want to sit there. I want to sit with this person instead, and they change it up. But another one that's more,
rude
trust
people.
me, there are people who do that. But the most common one I see is when people don't wait for the host to start eating before they start eating. So, or they don't wait till everybody is served, and then they start eating themselves, right? Because remember, having dinner it's a communal activity. So your pacing is supposed to be the same. Usually the host or hostess will pick up their cutlery first and you follow their lead. And if there's no clear host, then I like to make a show of looking left, looking right, saying, oh, everybody's food is here, right? Before I tuck in.
What if you're a person that's tired of your partner not helping out with chores around the house? You know, how do you fix this? Because this can build tension and it can get really ugly if you don't take care of this.
Oh, yeah. Well, a common mistake people make is to come in with a sweeping accusation of the other person's personality and how bad they are as a person. So they say, you never wash the dishes, you're so selfish, and that's what can lead to escalations. The key thing, I like to use the ladder of inference, where step one, you focus on the facts. So you say, you know, yesterday you said you would wash the dishes, but today there's a pile of dirty dishes that you clearly haven't washed. And that's happened, you know, X number of times. And then the second step is to say, well, you know, and this is how it makes me feel. It makes me feel that you don't care about the house, which means you don't care about me and our home together, right? And then you talk about how you interpreted it. But the most important thing is to focus on your own feelings and how it hurt you. And then you ask them, you know, because everybody has a different perspective. You say, but I want to understand why you didn't wash the dishes or why you don't like to wash the dishes, and really get to the bottom of that. And it's important to find some sort of compromise where, you know, you say, well, you know, it would really show me that you loved me or that you cared about me if you contributed to the household, and find a common ground.
We have to ask you about a hot topic when it comes to airplane behavior. If someone asks to switch seats with you, to sit with their family, but you don't want to switch seats, how should you respond?
This is a very divisive topic. I personally think that you're not obligated to switch seats with anybody. And so you should never feel pressured. You can say, I'm good, you know, but a lot of times we feel like we need to give an excuse. in which case, an excuse I like to say is, oh, I paid more for my seat. Or I like to say, 17D is my lucky seat. I get a lot of anxiety if I don't sit in 17D.
That's a good one.
Especially with Americans.
Stick with that one.
That's a good one.
You can't argue that. Yeah. Sarah Jane, thank you so much for joining us today. DBL Nation, to learn more about expert etiquette tips, pick up a copy of her book, Mind Your Manners, wherever books are sold. Thank you again. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Would y'all trust an AI to diagnose you? In a recent study, medical professionals found that the advice of artificial intelligence was better than that of human doctors.
Ooh.
Yeah. And get this. This makes me so uncomfortable.
AI wrote this.
I am an AI bot. More than 79% of the medical professionals said that AI was more compassionate and more detailed. So would you use AI for your medical concerns?
Absolutely not. And I remember having this similar conversation with Dr. Coley, and she said something to the effect that the combination.
Oh, do both?
Yes.
Okay.
Which I feel far more comfortable.
Oh, that is good. Okay.
Yes.
Now give your answer without health insurance.
Yeah. Good point. Way to bring us down.
Sorry.
If you prefer human interaction when it comes to your medical needs, better benefits can help. Many Americans already on Medicare may not have a plan with all the benefits accessible to them, so make sure you reach out to Medicare Advantage advisors today. The benefits review is free. Just call 1-800-909-2613. DBL's new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.